Good morning, everybody. Pastor Stitch, Narrow Path Christian Church, BC, Bay City, Michigan. Welcome to the Biker Devotional. Today is April 27th, 2024, and I am so blessed to be able to be with you today. Today we will be looking at Proverbs chapter 27, and first and foremost, welcome Rhonda, Victor, Christopher, the rest of you that may be catching this now or later. So glad that you are all here. Random, glad to have you here as well. Today we're going to look at verse 25 through 27. As I was preparing myself for today, I was thinking about all the things that have to be done. And the one thing I didn't think about was the possibility of rain today when I was preparing for my day. The grass is wet, the ground is wet, and I've got things to do outside. The grass is tall. It needs to get mowed, which means the lawnmower needs to get put on the tractor. The snowblower has to come off. The lawnmower has to go on. I need to get the oil changed in the bike. I need to get the trailer out that I tow behind the bike and make sure the bearings are good and everything's good on that, the lights work, all of that. And then I have prep work for tomorrow for the sermon. I have a lot of things that I need to get done today. And as I was reading in Proverbs today, Solomon talking to his sons about wise use of resources. He had already told them in verse 23, know well the condition of your flock and pay attention to your herds. Pay attention to your resources. Time is a resource, but also other things. And I read in verse 25 through 27 this, when hay is removed and new growth appears, and the grain from the hills is gathered in, lambs will provide your clothing, and goats the price of a field. There will be enough goat milk for your food for your household, and nourishment for your female servants. As I was looking at that today, there's multiple things in it, but the one thing that God was reminding me of, and maybe you need to hear this today too, it's one thing at a time. But each one builds on the other so that you have what you need. Hay is removed. That takes time. While you're feeding your animals that hay that you removed from the field, new growth appears, and eventually it gets to the point where they could graze there. But it takes time for that new growth to appear. And grain from the hills are gathered in. How many of you know a harvest doesn't happen right away? It takes time for it to grow, mature, ripen, dry out so that you can harvest it. Then lambs will provide your clothing, and goats the price of a field. Lambs have to be sheared to provide the clothing, and it takes time for that to grow to the point where it can be sheared. Goats have to grow up to the point where they can be sold to pay for a field. And the female goats can't produce milk if they haven't been bred and had young. One piece at a time. While you have a lot to do, you do what's in front of you, you get that done, you move on to the next thing. That's what I needed to hear today. Maybe you did too. I love y'all. Hope you have a great day. God bless.